36, 24, 36. Tantalizing eyes, angelic face, standing 5 feet tall, kissable lips. If this is the description of your first love, good for you. But not for me. Because my first love, although it involves curves and charts, is not a beautiful lady, but the profession of teaching. Yes, fellow Toastmasters
I don't
and
believe
guests.
that at all. Oh my goodness.
My
I
first
don't
love
think so.
is teaching.
First love is teaching? Nah. I think I like the figure better, don't you think?
I think if you allow me to continue, you will be convinced
Really?
that I made the right choice by falling in love. My first love is teaching. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, e pluribus unum. Out of the many professions, teaching. Why teaching? There are 4 reasons for my love for teaching. First, no profession is much nobler than teaching profession. No one is nobler than molding the minds of the youth, preparing them for responsible citizenship when they become professionals.
But what about parents?
I will explain that as I go ahead. Nothing is much nobler than shaping the minds that shape the future of nations and perhaps of the world. The second reason why I fall in love with teaching is this is the only profession. I could have become a lawyer, a physician, an engineer. But teaching is the only profession, I guess, that gives me the satisfaction of having my positive contribution in society have that multiplier effect. Can you imagine? I handled more than 1,000 students. If you just take 5% of that was influenced positively, and the ripple effects, the positive impact of that 5% in the communities, in societies, and to the nation. I would have long died, and the effects are still there and multiplying up to the time of my grandkids. The third reason is teaching is the best practice time for me to develop my development communication skills and analytical thinking as a professional. How do I respond to the challenging questions posed by excellent students who test my knowledge of theories, concepts, and best practices in economics and how I relate them to the realities of market life? It's not easy to do that. It's much, much difficult than table topics questions posed during our Toastmasters meeting. And fourth reason is, there is no other profession in the world, e pluribus unum, like teaching, because it gives me the complete freedom of thought and action. I'm the boss inside the classroom.
Bert,
When?
I don't think so. I think what you're doing is you're saying you're using children as a support for you.
Not really support for me. That's my responsibility as a responsible professional because I teach not children but young college students. I teach economic subjects, introduction to economic analysis, microeconomics, and seminar on economic problems. So I'm not using them as props to my own development. That's my payback way of giving to society what I get from my teachers and professors when I was a student. My love affair with teaching started in November 1973. I was 24 years old. I was recruited into the Faculty of Economics Department of my alma mater, the Philippine College of Commerce, now the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. I was asked to handle 3 subjects: Introduction to Economic Analysis, Microeconomics, and Seminar on Economic Problems. I love teaching so much that I never went to any one of my classes unprepared. I always made it a point to be ready to respond to the challenging questions posed by my bright and average students. I made it a point that I'm ready to discuss theories and concepts so that my students could understand and relate them to the realities of life as I get out of my classroom. Every meeting is a spirited exchange of ideas between me and my students. My love affair with teaching went on for 1.5 years as a full-time faculty member. But I got married eventually to my other love, to my first romantic love, my beautiful wife, Linda. And soon thereafter, I realized that the pay of faculty members in the Philippines, being a developing country, was not remunerative enough for a family man. So I had to divorce my first love. I had to quit teaching, and I went to the corporate world, jumping from one job to another, both in the corporate world and in the government sectors, rising in positions with concomitant increase in pay, where I enjoyed my perks and benefits, and enabled me to put food on family table, and to support the education of my kids. As I grow in position in both the corporate world and in the government sector, I had so many opportunities to be invited as speakers to give lectures on issues that concern my office. And in this dialogue, in these speaking engagements, the appreciative audience, thank you very much, Nor, for interrupting my speech. This is a welcome departure from what I'm talking about for a few minutes, and I like this because this is food for the brain, so I could continue on with my speech. As I engage my audience in these speaking engagements, I found satisfaction in how appreciative the audience could be. And this rekindled in me the interest to get back and to embrace my first love. So that when I was offered by the dean of the university, yes, ma'am?
I love your story. I love your story.
Let me continue my story, and you will love it even more. You will love it even more as I go ahead. So it rekindled in me my interest to get back to teaching. And so when I was offered a part-time teaching position, which I can do as I moonlight to add on to my income, I readily accepted it. It took me 5 years as a part-time faculty member before I decided to take a break from teaching. You know, as in romantic love, things do not always go smooth. So I had to take a break. I had to divorce again my love, my first love, because I had to concentrate on my increasing. Yes, ma'am?
I love romance. I love romance.
Everybody loves romance, I guess. I had to divorce and leave my part-time teaching again because of the increasing demands of my position in the government. I was number 2 man in the office, and we had presence in 1,000 municipalities, which is about 1,000 cities here in the United States. And at that time, I was also dealing with the exacting demands of my graduate studies, both in public administration and business administration. Because I took up MBA, I took up Master of Public Administration, and Doctor of Public Administration. I had to decide on quitting teaching for me to concentrate in professional development, in further improving myself so that when I get back to teaching later, I'll be better equipped to deal with the brightest student in the classroom. Now that I am in the United States, I have been here for 19 years. I miss teaching so much. That is why I am conducting free workshops on how to study effectively, how to win in high school debates. I happily coach a team at St. Paul V Catholic School here in Buena Park, and the team that I coach won 4 out of 4 debates the first time that I joined the debate. And the member of the team, one of the members of the team happened to be my granddaughter, who is number 1 in the class. I must have conducted 5 or 6 Zoom workshops with them. I taught them the nitty-gritty of preparing for debates, and the advisor of that class was so happy that she is inviting me to help the school hone the skills of school debaters in competing debates, and I'm now a judge. I will be soon certified, and there are about 245 students who participate in debates in Orange County. It's the League of Debates. So that is the reward that I get. I'm not being paid for this. I'm doing this for free. I also conduct workshops on how to study effectively, and participants come from the Philippines, some Asian countries, and from here. And I'm happy to tell you that one of my students who happened to have attended some of our meetings, Gabi, she is now the editor-in-chief of the publication of the school. That's the most expensive school in the Philippines. And she is graduating in high school. She was admitted into the Oxford program last summer, and she was accepted into the summer program of Harvard. She was also accepted into the IB International Baccalaureate Diploma program of her school because she wants to study in one of the Ivy League universities here. I coached her for so many sessions, including the parents, because the parents had to be interviewed when she applied in Oxford and Harvard. This is the satisfaction that I get. I think this is my way of contributing to society, because what I am today, I owe it to society, to my teachers, to my parents, to all the members of the academic community where I had been to. While what I'm doing today is not really in economics, I feel satisfaction because I'm able to impart whatever I know and to share it with young people to make this world a better place to live in. I still miss my first love because I'm not doing it full-time. I don't know, fellow Toastmasters and guests. What is your first love? Are you still with your first love? If you are not, do you miss it? I miss my first love, but at least now I'm doing something close to my first love. Madam Toastmaster.